grew up in Connecticut, Groton. My dad was in the Navy, so that's why lived in Groton. There's a Navy base there. Even though I was a Navy kid, we didn't move around a bunch. I stayed there my whole life. When I was in middle school, my parents got divorced. So my dad did move a little bit further away in Connecticut not right away, but when I was in high school, he moved. So I was kind of back and forth between then. Was kind of in and out of the church, I guess, through life. Like, went to Sunday school, then didn't really go, and then found myself going to youth group again in high school with some friends, and then kind of college rolled around and kind of fell off anything to do with God, really, and kind of started living my own life, kind of doing my own thing. Didn't really think I needed any guidance. I kind of had my own plan laid out, and thought I knew where I was going, what I was doing with my life. So figured out my plan, and found a job in Indiana. Moved to Indiana for a job with the company Jasper Engines. It was an internship, so it was temporary. It was supposed to be like 18-month plan, which after that involved moving somewhere else beyond that. Whether it was somewhere closer back home or somewhere else. Had my way out of kind of where I grew up was maybe part of the plan, but yeah, kind of had it figured out, like that was my time frame. That's what I was doing, and after that 18-month program was up, I was going to have a sales position somewhere else in the country. A few months into that program, had made some friends locally, and we had kind of gone out and just went to one of the local bars. We're out just partying, having a good time. With that, we left the bar. Instead of going straight home, we kind of drove around a little bit and got behind the wheel when I should not have, and ended up in a pretty bad wreck that ended up in one of my friends losing his life because of that wreck. And that obviously led to probably the darkest time in my life, dealing with the consequences that come from that. That found myself in jail, kind of in the middle of thinking that, okay, here I've lost everything because of my actions, because of what just happened, and now what, and where am I going to go from here? My first thought really was, I've ruined my entire life, and there's no way I'm going to recover from this. Best case scenario, I'm going to be building my life back up from rock bottom. And I actually remember sitting in the drunk tank and laying on a mat on the floor and thinking and praying, really, like, God, if you get me through this, I'll do whatever you want. Like, I don't see a way that I myself can get out of this, so I need you. And I don't know if I knew what that meant at the time, but or if I even believed that God would actually come through on that. But when you're in that kind of low moment, that bottom of the pit, and that's the only thing that can maybe get or reach out to, then that's where I was. That's what I was doing. After that, probably the first way I really saw God maybe starting to answer that and kind of step into that was just how people responded and people reached out to me Even while I was still in jail, people that I had never met before, people that actually had known my friend and were part of his church, had reached out to me and wanted to get to know me and love on me and just be there for me in ways that I really didn't understand at the time. And that blossomed into friendships and obviously much more that I never would have thought of at the time. I would say God really stepped out and spoke to me through those people, and showed me that he still had a purpose for me and that he still loved me and actually wanted me to be a part of his story. I was in a point where I really felt like I couldn't even love myself, and here are these people that, again, I've said I've never met before, that are loving me and welcoming me into their homes and into their families. Those had become some of my best friends. That became my community. More than just going to church and hearing a sermon, it was, I ate dinner with these people, I played cards with these people, and really just got to know them, and they got to know me, not because of what I'd done, but because of who I was. And I think it helped me realize that what had happened wasn't my identity, and it wasn't who I was, because these people were seeing me as who I actually was, and not just as someone who messed up and made a terrible mistake, and not defined by those mistakes. God proves time and time again, in not just stories we read in the Bible, but stories like mine, that there's nothing you can do that can separate you from God to the point where he's not still pursuing you and he's not still seeking you out. And that if you choose to notice that and see that and turn to him, that he can't use you. And it's not that he wants to use you despite of those hang-ups and those mistakes and those failures. It's because of those. That's why he wants to use you the most.